So, Deathstalker 1983. Ever heard of it? It's this super low-budget, over-the-top sword and sorcery flick that's basically everything that made 80s fantasy movies wild. Think muscle-bound heroes, dark magic, tons of violence, and way more nudity than you'd expect. Alright, what's it all about? Deathstalker, yep, that's the main guy's actual name, is a wandering tough guy in some crazy, violent world full of monsters, witches, and totally bonkers warlords. This old witch sends him on a quest to round up 3 magical MacGuffins, an amulet, a chalice, and a sword. Bring them together? Ultimate power. Cue dramatic music. Deathstalker ends up at this ridiculous tournament hosted by a super evil sorcerer called Munkar. There's a ton of fighting, weird creatures, and other warriors, including Princess Kodil, the eye candy, and Kyra, a legit badass. Everything builds up to a big, cheesy showdown for the magic loot. And surprise, the fate of the realm. How did this insanity get made? Roger Corman, who was basically the low-budget movie king, flew the whole project to Argentina because it was dirt cheap and looked exotic. They filmed in wild places with local crews, reused whatever costumes they could find, and just made it work. Yeah, the editing is kinda rough, some of the effects are laughable, and you'll probably spot those props in like 3 other movies. But that's half the charm, honestly. So what's the vibe? Deathstalker is messy, but in a fun way. Think loads of awkward nudity, trash talk, fights that look like drunken brawls, and creatures that probably cost $20 to make. Gratuitous everything, nudity, sex, violence, you name it. Dialogue that's so bad it's awesome, monster designs that make you grin, just overall sleazy, sweaty, post-Conan energy. Basically, if you want prestige, look elsewhere. What about the legacy? Even though critics seriously trashed it, Deathstalker got huge on VHS and late-night TV. It's the movie you watch with your buddies just to point and laugh. Good news, it spawned 3 sequels, each one goofier than the last. Deathstalker 2, Duel of the Titans, 1987, goes full comedy because why not? Deathstalker and the Warriors from Hell, 1988, the original Deathstalker comes back. Deathstalker 4, Match of Titans, 1991, it keeps going. Lana Clarkson, the warrior lady, ended up doing a bunch more Corman stuff, notably Barbarian Queen, with just as much sword, skin, and sass. People still love these movies for their so bad it's good vibes. It's peak 80s cheese and proud of it. Reception? Well, critics back in the day thought it was junk, plot made no sense, and it was shamelessly trashy. But genre fans have given it a second life. Fun facts for you. Deathstalker is part of Corman's Argentina cycle. He shot a bunch of similar movies down there to save a buck. Lana Clarkson did almost all her own stunts. It's landed on both worst movies ever made and must-see 80s fantasy lists. The hero's sword pops up in a bunch of other Corman flicks, sharing the love. It's been spoofed by Elvira and loads of movie riffing shows, because honestly, how could you not? So yeah, if you like your fantasy wild, weird, and more than a little sleazy, Deathstalker is the cult classic you didn't know you needed. Grab some friends, order a pizza, and let the ridiculousness roll. Want more 80s movies nostalgia? Subscribe to Movies of the 80s.